Hi, I'm Nancy D. The program you're about to see was originally a regular segment of the Sandy Time Show, which aired on Oregon cable channels from 2003 to 2010. I hope you enjoy Visions of the Past, a brief glimpse into the history of Sandy, Oregon. We're at the site of the Revenue Cemetery, where a natural phenomena happened in April of 2003. A gigantic lightning storm struck down this huge maple tree 100 years old, and it landed right in between the gravestone of Francis and Lydia Revenue. Hi, I'm Nancy D. Welcome to Visions of the Past. While we're here in the Revenue Cemetery, I'd like to share some information about this unmarked and unknown little plot of land. The Revenue Cemetery is located on a portion of the old Francis Revenue farm just off the road to Bull Run between Cedar Creek and the Sandy River, close to the route of the Barlow Road. The cemetery is small and is overgrown with a large variety of brush and wild vines. A row of native cedars forms its easterly boundary, and the entire plot is enclosed with a broken down woven wire fence topped with barbed wire. Buried here is Francis Revenue, founder of the town of Sandy, and his wife Lydia. The graves are marked with a single stone bearing the last name Revenue, and under it their given names: Francis, 1813 to 1909, and Lydia, 1828 to 1900. Wooden markers on other graves were badly weathered and the inscriptions largely unreadable as to dates. In previous episodes, we reviewed the U.S. history and stories about the Oregon and Barlow Trail. Now we're into the 1850s, but we still haven't had any settlers. That's all about to change. The Revenue's arrival in 1853 was 20 years before there was any sign of the village of Sandy. There were 2 benches of level land on the Revenue claim. Francis built his home on the upper bench, then soon built a trading post across the road, thereby having the Oregon Trail run between the 2 buildings. Sometime later, he built a toll bridge across the Sandy River so that wagon trains didn't have to ford it. Francis and Lydia were parents of 9 children: Mary, who'd crossed the plains with her parents, John, Lucy, Matilda, Alice, Edward, Theodore, Cordelia, and Lawrence. One of the Revenue daughters, Alice Webster, was very active in the Sandy Pioneer Association, now the Sandy Historical Society. At their meetings, she often spoke of the early days when her father had to go to either Foster's at Eagle Creek or to Oregon City for staples such as coffee, sugar, salt, and flour. They had plenty of fish and venison to supplement the beef they raised, and they had large gardens from the seed they had brought from Illinois. As a small girl in about 1869, she remembered that they had only a few neighbors within a few miles of their place: the families of Steve Coleman, Charles Sivers, Charles St. John's, and Henry McGawkin. As the 9 Revenue children grew, there was a need for a school, so Revenue built a log schoolhouse on the lower bench of his property. John Revenue, the eldest son, yarded the logs from the project in about 1868 when he was 14 years old. Egbert Noyes Olcott was hired to teach the Revenue children for 3 months of each year. Gradually, as other settlers came, their children also attended the Revenue school. The Revenue School District No. 6 was formed in 1870 and was used until the first Sandy School was built at the foot of Meinig Hill in about 1886. The Revenue's home, trading post, and school contributed the only central point in the vicinity, so it is no wonder that, for a time, the area was known as Revenue. However, this all changed on February 13, 1873, when Richard Gerdes opened his small store and established the Sandy Post Office, the first business building within our present Sandy city limits. From then on, the village that developed was always known as Sandy. Thanks for joining us, and don't miss the next episode of Visions, the beginning of Sandy. I'm Nancy D. with Visions of the Past. Bye. Visions of the Past was inspired by the books of lifelong Sandy resident and historian Phil Junsrud. Photographs and text from his books have been used with permission. Phil passed away in 2012. This production is dedicated to his memory.